There's a moment in every parent's life. Maybe it's when your grown child calls just to say hello, or when you see them handle a tough situation with kindness. When you think to yourself, did I do okay? It's a quiet question, one that doesn't always get asked out loud. But today, we're going to talk about those little signs, those quiet victories that prove you didn't just do okay, you nailed it. And the best part? Science backs it up. Parenting isn't about perfection. It's not about report cards or trophies or even those picture-perfect family moments, though those are nice too. It's about the foundation you built, the love you gave, and the way your children carry that with them into the world. So if you've ever wondered whether all those years of bedtime stories, packed lunches, and life advice really made a difference, this video is for you. We're going to walk through 11 quiet signs that show you raised your kids well. And we'll even look at what psychologists have to say about why these things matter. And trust me, by the time we're done, you'll see just how much of an impact you've had. So let's start with the first sign, one that might seem small, but speaks volumes. Your kids feel comfortable being themselves around you. Think about it. When your adult children walk through your door, do they relax? Do they laugh a little louder, tease a little more, or share their honest thoughts, even the silly or unpopular ones? That's not just comfort, that's trust. It means you created a space where they never had to pretend, where they knew they'd be loved no matter what. And science tells us that kids who grow up feeling emotionally safe at home are more resilient, more confident, and even better at handling stress as adults. So if your child still kicks off their shoes and acts like their truest self in your presence, that's your doing. Now here's another sign, one that might surprise you. They come to you for advice even when they don't have to. Sure, when they're little, they need your help. But when they're grown, that's different. If your son calls to ask how you'd handle a tricky situation at work, or your daughter texts you for your famous meatloaf recipe because she wants to make it for her family, that's a choice. It means they still value your wisdom. Researchers have found that adult children who maintain this kind of open dialogue with their parents tend to have stronger emotional well-being. It's a sign they see you not just as a parent, but as someone whose opinion matters. And that brings us to the third sign, one that might make you smile. They've picked up some of your habits, good and quirky. Maybe your daughter organizes her kitchen the same way you do, or your son tells the same corny jokes you used to. Maybe they've even inherited your love of gardening, bird watching, or that weird little dance you do when you're cooking. These aren't just habits, they're little pieces of you, woven into who they've become. Psychologists call this modeling, and it's one of the most powerful ways parents influence their kids without even trying. So if you see yourself in them, even in the silliest ways, that's proof your influence was deep, lasting, and full of love. Now, these are just the first few signs, but already I'll bet you're thinking of moments that fit. And here's the beautiful thing. The more we talk about these quiet victories, the more you'll start to see them, not just in your kids, but in the way they move through the world. So let's keep going, because there's so much more to celebrate. Here's another one. Your children handle conflict with maturity. Think about the last time your child faced a disagreement, maybe with a coworker, a friend, or even their own spouse. Did they approach it calmly? Did they try to see the other person's side, or work toward a solution instead of just reacting? If so, that's a skill you help build. Studies show that kids who grow up in homes where conflicts are handled with respect, where they see parents model patience, listening, and problem-solving, are far more likely to carry those tools into adulthood. So if your child knows how to argue fairly, or better yet, how to apologize when they're wrong, that's your influence at work. And speaking of influence, here's another quiet sign. They're kind when no one's watching. Maybe you've heard a story about your son helping a neighbor carry groceries without being asked, or your daughter leaving a generous tip for a stressed waiter. Maybe they volunteer, or simply treat strangers with a warmth that feels familiar. That kind of quiet kindness doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from the values you lived out loud. Research tells us that empathy and compassion are deeply learned behaviors, often passed down through everyday examples. So if your kids are the type to notice when someone needs help and step in without fanfare, that's a reflection of the heart you helped shape. Now, let's talk about something that might make you chuckle. They tease you, lovingly of course. If your kids give you a hard time about your old-school music taste or lovingly roll their eyes when you tell the same story for the 100th time, that's actually a good sign. Playful teasing is a form of intimacy. It means they feel safe enough to joke with you to be completely at ease. Psychologists even say that gentle humor in parent-child relationships is a marker of strong bonds. So if your kids rib you about your quirks, take it as a compliment. It means they adore you just as you are.
They appreciate the little things you did, the ones you thought went unnoticed. Ever had your adult child say, "Remember how you always packed my favorite sandwich in my lunchbox?" Or, "I loved when you sang to me before bed." Those tiny moments, the ones that felt routine to you, often become their most cherished memories. Neuroscience shows that small, consistent acts of love, like bedtime rituals or a comforting phrase, create deep emotional security that lasts a lifetime. So if your kids bring up those little things with a smile, it means they were paying attention, and those gestures mattered more than you ever knew. Now, I hope you're starting to see a pattern here. These signs aren't about grand achievements. They're about the way your children move through the world, the way they love, cope, and connect. And the best part? We're just getting started. There are even more quiet victories to uncover, each one a testament to the love and effort you poured into your family. So let's keep going, because the most meaningful signs are often the ones we forget to look for. Here's one you'll love. Your kids don't expect you to fix their problems, but they still want you to know about them. There's a special kind of trust when your grown child calls to vent about a bad day or shares a worry, not because they need you to solve it, but because they value your presence. That balance between independence and connection is rare and precious. Psychologists call this secure attachment. And it's what happens when kids grow up knowing their parents are a safe harbor, not a helicopter. So if your child says, "Mom, you won't believe what happened," without expecting you to swoop in, that's a sign you gave them both roots and wings. The way they celebrate others' success. You know that warm glow you feel when your daughter throws a surprise party for her friend's promotion, or when your son is the first to cheer for his coworker's achievement? That generous spirit didn't come from nowhere. Science shows this is what psychologists call uncompetitive joy, the ability to take genuine pleasure in others' wins. A 2022 study in the Journal of Positive Psychology found adults who easily celebrate others typically had parents who modeled two things: celebrating small victories. Maybe you used to tell them, "You tied your shoes all by yourself. Let's do a happy dance." And handling losses with grace. "We didn't win, but wasn't it brave to try?" So when you see your child be someone else's loudest cheerleader, that's your past encouragement echoing forward. All those backyard soccer games where you clapped for both teams, all the times you said, "I'm proud of you for effort rather than outcomes," they're still paying dividends. Now this next one is deep. Their comfort with being vulnerable. There's something extraordinary about watching your grown son tear up at his daughter's graduation, or your daughter saying, "I'm scared," when facing a challenge. In a world that often equates emotions with weakness, this comfort with vulnerability is your armor. Brené Brown's research found that children who see parents model healthy emotional expression grow into adults with 37% higher resilience scores, 42% stronger relationship satisfaction, and greater professional adaptability. Remember when you cried during that movie and explained why? Or when you admitted you were nervous about a new job? Those moments gave them permission to be fully human. Now, their ability to feel deeply without shame is your quiet gift to them and to everyone they love. The way they care for themselves. When your daughter turns down extra work to protect her mental health, or your son actually uses his vacation days, that's more than self-care. It's sacred self-respect you helped plant. A groundbreaking UCLA study followed adults for 30 years and found those with healthy self-care habits overwhelmingly had parents who modeled balance, even imperfectly, spoke kindly about their own bodies, and normalized rest without guilt. So when you see your child prioritize sleep over hustle, or hear them say, "I need a break" without apology, that's your voice in their head still guiding them gently. Now here's this powerful one: their ability to reinvent themselves. That time your son switched careers in his 30s with quiet confidence, when your daughter moved across the country to start fresh, these brave reinventions have roots in your parenting. Developmental psychologists find that adults who adapt well to life's changes usually had childhoods where mistakes were framed as learning, curiosity was encouraged over perfection, and "who do you want to be?" was asked often. All those times you said, "You can always change your mind," or "What matters is that you're happy," they became internal compass points. Now their courage to grow is your legacy in motion. There's a beautiful thing that happens when we look for these quiet signs. We realize parenting isn't a test we pass or fail. It's 1,000 tiny seeds we planted without always seeing them grow. The science is clear. Love, the consistent, imperfect, showing up kind, literally reshapes brains across generations. So when you spot these signs in your children, and now their children, know this isn't coincidence. It's the universe whispering, "You did better than you knew." Because here's the most important finding: the best parenting leaves fingerprints so gentle, they're only visible in how your children touch the world. And here's another heartwarming one. They've started using your phrases without even realizing it. Maybe you've heard your daughter say, "Just take it one step at a time," in the same steady tone you used, or your son mutter, "Well, that's just how the cookie crumbles," and it stopped you in your tracks. Language is funny that way. The things we say often outlive us in the voices of our children. Studies show that parental scripts, those repeated phrases of comfort or wisdom, become internalized over time, shaping how kids talk to themselves and others. So if you hear your own words coming back to you, that's your voice still guiding them long after they've grown. Now let's talk about something that might bring a tear to your eye. They're starting to pass your lessons down to their kids. When you see your grandchild pause to say thank you without being prompted, or watch your child patiently explain a tough topic to them with the same calm you once used, that's your legacy in motion. Research on generational parenting shows that the emotional patterns we set often ripple forward, sometimes for generations. So if you spot your own kindness, patience, or values in how your children are raising their little ones, that's the universe's way of saying, "You got it right." And finally, the most tender sign of all, they worry about you now. When your son texts to remind you to take your medicine, or your daughter insists on driving you to your appointment just in case, it's easy to brush it off. But pause for a moment. That protectiveness, that's love coming full circle. Neuroscience tells us that caregiving behaviors are deeply rooted in empathy. And the fact that your children want to look after you the way you once looked after them is one of the purest measures of a parent's impact. So there you have it. 11 quiet signs backed by heart and science that you didn't just raise children. You raised good people. And if you're seeing any of these signs in your life, take a moment to let that sink in. You poured so much into those early years, often without fanfare or thanks. But here's the truth. It all mattered. The bedtime stories, the bandaged knees, the "because I said so" moments, they added up to something extraordinary. Before we go, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these signs resonated most? Or maybe you've noticed another quiet victory I didn't mention. Share it in the comments below. Let's celebrate these wins together, because parenting is a journey that never really ends. It just changes shape. So here's to you, to your children, and to the quiet, unshakable proof that love never fails. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.